What you think about your man Harbaugh going to the Chargers?
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect. I think for the Chargers, the big question I think for Harbaugh coming anywhere is, can we work with him? And in this situation, and I think this is the same for Harbaugh and Belichick. Anybody with some level of power, and Belichick, we don't have a history of him having a hard time working with people, like not a long one. We've had articles about him and Kraft having some struggles, but they ultimately had success. But Harbaugh, we've heard a bunch about him being tough to work with. And so right now, he's coming into a place where they don't have a general manager in place. So making that Harbaugh decision and put him somewhere where you have a quarterback who's already shown the skill, like, yeah, this seems like the most perfect of all the openings, like the most perfect fit. And I also feel good. Got a couple black coaches hired off the bat. Now, I don't got to stress. I don't got to stress too much. You gave Pierce got the job. My man, Gerard Mayo, he got the opportunity to go up there. And now we can talk about these other sham interviews that they out here performing with less vitriol. And I do think that Harbaugh's perfect for that situation.
I think that for the Chargers, you got like a 3-year clock on Harbaugh, right? Like that's about where he got a little Larry Brown in him, right? Like it's going to be good while it's good. But, after a while, everybody going to get tired of it. He get tired of it too. Like, I think that's the most interesting part about it. It's not like they get ready to run Harbaugh off and he's like, what did I do? Everybody's tired of it, right? It's a typically short-term proposition. I also think this is interesting as it deviates from Harbaugh's patterns of picking jobs, where he largely goes places where he has some level of familiarity. He went to Stanford, where his dad used to work, and then he took the San Francisco job, which is right up the street from there. And then he went to Michigan, where he went to college. That's been kind of how he's done, and when he's taking these jobs. This one, I guess he used to play for the Chargers. My bad. Yeah. He did have his brief little move there.
But that's not a familiar place because they weren't in LA. This is I mean, the jersey's the same, but nothing else is the same. I guess Dean Spanos or the Spanos family is the same. But yeah, I think it's still consistent with what you were setting up. While he played there, it wasn't there. It was much closer to Tijuana. I do know
this, though. Your quarterback will probably be as good as your quarterback can be. Because if there's one thing that Harbaugh has demonstrated is that he'll get your quarterback situation right. He'll tighten you up there. And that's kind of what they need. Because with Justin Herbert, it's all there. It just hasn't happened.
Yeah. We talk about Andy Reid and Alex Smith like Andy Reid is the one who rejuvenated Alex Smith. That's not true. Alex Smith was one of the worst number 1 overall picks ever until Harbs got there. And him and Greg Roman, who I think gets kind of typecast as the running quarterback guy who can't evolve an offense, he was there. And of course, Alex Smith was a very good athlete, but he and Greg Roman brought Alex Smith up to a good enough level. Not quite good enough because they then got Kaepernick, and when Alex got healthy, they didn't want to put him back in. But he was good enough that it didn't feel like a bad draft pick, and they were making runs, great record, into the playoffs. I think they might have won a playoff game with Alex Smith, if I remember correctly.
They sure did.
Yeah. So they were good. And then obviously what happened with Kaepernick and Andrew Luck is a different story. But watching how people talking about J.J. McCarthy right now, I'm like, man, y'all see something I don't see. But I guess Harbaugh is convincing them of it.
But also remember this, though, with Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck didn't come into college on some Trevor Lawrence hype, right? Like, he wasn't that guy. He was a 4-star recruit and became Andrew Luck. Like, a lot of that obviously had to do with luck, but a lot of that had to do with Jim Harbaugh. The Kaepernick move in the middle of that season, where Kaepernick came in, played that one game because Alex Smith had a concussion. You were like, oh, that worked out well. Well, there's no way they're going to, they're staying with him. And it worked. There's no other way to look at it. They got him to a Super Bowl because the year before, Alex Smith, as I recall, in that game against the Giants in the NFC Championship game, did not complete a pass for a first down. On third down, they did not convert a third down. That was where they was like, oh, okay, we need something else. But they made the switch to the incredibly raw at that time Kaepernick. They figured out a way to make that happen. It's been some ups and downs at Michigan, but ultimately figured out the way to make that go. So if what you needed was the guy that can get you the most out of Herbert, Harbaugh's probably the guy. And they got dudes on that team, man. And Harbaugh works quick. This isn't a guy that necessarily needs this huge process. He's the only guy also that I can think of who has truly, I guess Pete Carroll wound up doing it, but his adaptability between being a college coach with a college demeanor to also being able to do it in the NFL, maybe that's part of why I could only go for 2 or 3 years, but he's that guy. Prize Picks is the most fun you can have by winning up to 25 times your money this football season, and now you can play during basketball season too. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. Prize Picks is really simple to play. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.